want to get you in, William. We have to start showing some positive images.
Correct.
Because what they're seeing over and over again is you can't make it. You're destined for jail. 90% of you are going to wind up in jail. Well, if that's what we keep telling them, that's what they're going to believe.
Right.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, in Georgia, we had our community center there, and we changed. This was back in, I want to say, 2005 or 4, either one of those. And we changed a lot of lives in that program by teaching them a vocational skill. And that vocational skill was to fix and build computers. That's what I do. And I wasn't a teacher yet, per se. I was in the program myself with other youths. But as I got older and as the program flourished and more people graduated from the program, and now we have IT, youths that, know how to fix a computer, go in, fix their mom's computer or their dad's computer. They can go in and hands-on and fix it. And those are the type of attributes that, gives them a sort of a purpose or sort of value to say, look, we care about you because we want you to have a vocational skill that can actually benefit you in the long run. And that's what we've been doing as Fort Lauderdale Community Center and other, community center in Georgia. We've just been taking kids, group home kids, kids off the street, from 0 to 25. It doesn't matter, what age you are. We just wanted to take you in to get you off the streets and teach you a skill that was definitely going to benefit you for the long run. And that's why, I'm glad to be a part of Fort Lauderdale Community Center.
That's awesome. And you're one of many providers that have shown that when you work effectively with young people, you can make a difference in their lives. And we see it day after day. Unfortunately, the resources are not sufficient to reach every child, but you can show them another path and they will be successful. But Sheriff, I have a question for you, because this really struck me the other day, that even as we have young people showing them pro-social skills, keeping them off the street in a productive after-school program or club or whatever it is appropriate to their age, at some point they have to walk home, and they're going to be walking down that street. And I wonder, as William was talking about, what can they do? What should they do? How do they act so as not to have 4 cop cars say, I see this child walking by themselves down the street, they must be up to no good? What should a mom tell her child about that?
Well, there's things a mom could tell a child, and we have to get better as police officers as well. We have to let people, young people know we have to go to events like this and make sure we're touching people that are, even younger than William, and letting them know that we're your friend. It starts with, we have deputies now getting out of their cars, taking their vests and their gun belts off and playing basketball with kids and letting you know we're reachable, we're approachable, we're touchable. We raise kids just like you. But clearly, you could have pastors, coaches, sheriffs, police officers, mentors, social workers line up from here to California. This will never change. The most important person in a child's life is the parent or the grandparent or the person that's in, and parents have to take charge of their kids, and they have to make sure their kids are well disciplined, are going to school, are well coached. And what a mom like Hope could do is say, you know what, William, whether you're right or wrong, if you come in contact with an officer, be respectful. Not that we're going to be right, all the time, because, we come from the human race too, and we make mistakes.
Sure.
But it starts off with respect. If you say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, sir, no, ma'am, it starts off with a good contact. Explain yourself, verbalize. We don't want you to be silent. Sir, I'm coming from my home, I'm coming to my friend's house, my mom knows I'm here. Speak clearly, speak articulately, and let the police officers or the deputies know what you're doing. We're not out there looking to arrest kids, but parents need to take charge of their homes.
Well, I think that's a really important message to get out there, because as a practical matter, I'm always looking as a mom. I don't have a young black man that I'm raising. I have a little white girl, but still I want her to know what to do in a situation to be safe, and I think that's an important message for all of our viewers. Hope, I know you're trying to get in.
Definitely, thank you. They're absolutely right. It starts with the parents, and William said a lot with what our programs do, and that's really empowering kids. One of the things that we've come to find out as far as bringing that component with the parent in, is identity. One of the things that I've noticed out of my 20 years in this type of work is that a lot of our children and even the parents have a miscued idea of what their identity is. When people understand who they are, then they know where they're going. They have to understand their past to really capture what their future is. We have to empower children not only just with vocational skills, but in training them in their past. We're much more than slaves or the Jim Crow law. If we understood the history of even Florida alone, there was a warrior who fought for his people, which was John Horse. And I don't know how many people out there actually know about him, but he was very big. We have to empower our kids with knowledge of who they are. They don't have any connection of who they are. Identity is going to bring them back to being positive about themselves, understanding that they are warriors, not in crime, but in building their community. Another problem that we see, and what we would like to do in Fort Lauderdale Community Center, is to bring about in Roosevelt Garden, which is a place that we would like to see change in, empowering that community, which is bringing about jobs. The one thing that children need, it is programs, but more than anything they need jobs. They're 28% unemployed. They need to have some kind of way to move forward. All of them are not going to go to college, which is another reason why we did vocational training. They have to have something that they can hold on to that is going to propel them to the next step, even if it's not in a college move. There has to be something there in a positive way, and money has to be there, even if it means that those of us in the community are going to come together, put money into something, into making it work for those kids, and giving them something that they can build. They put their time, their energy, they think about, they have an input in. And that's the problem. They're feeling completely and totally disconnected. We have to have a way to bring that back. And with our program, what we did was we embraced the police. We wanted our children to know that these individuals were there to protect and serve them. So in our program, we made sure that the police officers came in. We even brought in the gang task force. We even had a trip where we took our children down to the detention center and showed them what detention center and jail look like. And this gave them an idea of saying, this is not what I want my future to be. And it really did a lot. We also did a program where we did television media. I am a producer, and we also trained our students in television media, and we allowed them to put a program on themselves, which was Positive Spin. And with that program, they came up with ideas. They did PSAs. They gave us a perspective that we didn't even know that they had. Children are extremely creative, and one thing about our children, especially those that are at risk, they are very, very, very bright. That's the problem why they're not paying much attention in school. At least what I've come to find out is they're bored, and there's nothing that's really challenging them, which is another reason why they're not going to school.
Well, I'm hoping that Common Core, as scary as those words may sound, I'm seeing some really interesting opportunities where they're going to be challenging children to think and not just rote memorize, because rote memorization will bore anybody. But if we really challenge you to think, I'm hoping that will get more children engaged. We're almost at the end of time, but Representative, I wanted to give you a last chance to tell our viewers what to ask their legislators, because we need some policy change and some money out of Tallahassee and out of Washington.
Yes. Well, the good thing is that last year we had a surplus of dollars, and this year we hear that there is a greater surplus of dollars. I believe that the viewers need to write their legislators, write their senators, and need to let them know that they need to support nonprofit organizations, social services, law enforcement, and our school boards, and to take that surplus of money and put it in the right direction. That's the conversation.
So not
that
tax
needs to happen.
cuts.
Not tax cuts. They need to put more money into social services and our law enforcement and into our school districts. That's what the surplus of money need to be. And I'm putting it on the table. They have said it. We got an email that there's a surplus of money. We need to use it in the right direction.
Right.
And there's one way where you can kill two birds with one stone. Education and law enforcement,
Yep.
put money into school resource deputy dollars and let us expand programs.
Yep.
Let us maybe even stay on campus as long or have an extra deputy there, so we can have a familiarity with the students who go to the school. And I think people, to write your legislators and let them know that. Also, and I know this is a conversation for another time because we are running out of time, but I think people need to speak to their legislators and let them know that stand your ground as it exists today is not the best way that America needs to go forward. We need some subtle changes to it, and let your legislators know that.
Right, so change, stand your ground. The school resource officer, I know, has been a little bit of a hot button issue. It's been talked about in a variety of ways, but at its heart, it's community policing.
Absolutely.
And that, I think, was the way you were talking about it. Let those young people get to know the police officers and not view them as an enemy to be afraid of if they see them down the street, but rather an ally.
Right, and our deputies at the Broward Sheriff's Office that are assigned to schools, we don't select them and pick them to go to schools. They want to be at schools, they want to be at specific schools, and the principals and the teachers want these specific deputies there. So we just need more of that.
And the school board has made some changes now that those deputies will not be there to arrest people, but actually will be putting them into the diversion programs first and
Yeah.
not creating unnecessary records.
Hope and I were at I guess you could call it a seminar just the other day, and it was a wonderful seminar. And basically, Dr. Runcie of our school board was there, and we even spoke about a conversation he and I had early on where we try
I'm
and keep.
sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off. I could go on with this for days, but we're out of
Sorry,
time. So, racial profiling, insufficient infrastructure to positively engage young people, especially in the inner cities, a broader partnership between law enforcement and community, including constructive dialogue with youth, sensible laws that allow for legitimate self-defense but don't cross the line into vigilantism, more money for all of these efforts. These are complex issues that must be kept on the front burner through constructive dialogue and broad community engagement, which I think you see happening at least here in Broward County. We hope to have taken another small step in that direction today. Our thanks to State Representative Shevrin Jones, Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel, Chief Executive Officer of the Fort Lauderdale Community Center, Hope Gary, and William Gary III for their insight on how to create a safer community for all. I've been your host, Cindy Ehrenberg-Seltzer, President and CEO of the Children's Services Council of Broward County, where our mission is to empower Broward's children to become responsible, productive adults, capable of realizing their full potential, their hopes, and their dreams. For copies of this program or any other episode of Future First, please call the Children's Services Council at 954-377-1000 or visit www.cscbroward.org. Like us on Facebook, and remember to join us next time on Future First, Focus on Broward's Children.